Do you think, speaking on that actually, do you think being an activist or like doing stuff like that and actually sharing that, do you think that's like a moral obligation, or do you think that's like a personal choice each person has to go through?
For me, I would say it's a personal choice, because I always think of it as, if it was me, how would I feel? I do think for some people, maybe it could be a moral obligation. Like some people, it's like, you know, empaths, basically, like when you see something happening, you feel it. Like when you see someone's upset, you feel it as well. So I think for some people,
It's and I think I see that too, because sometimes, because I think it's weird, isn't it? Because I think there's a line too, because
there is a line,
if we don't morally, like I was saying before, the human, the collective conscious, like if we don't see that and do something about it,
it will get worse. It did get
are we
worse.
complicit? Like, are we complicit by not sharing it? And I know personally, I don't want to feel complicit for anything, except for my own actions. But but it's also like, how many of us are going to be saying that until we get to a point where like, whoa, this is actually like really bad.
Yeah, because like with it, even if it is a moral obligation, I wouldn't even say it's a bad thing. I think sometimes, I do think some people live their life, they're like, I do need to do this because if I don't, it makes me a bad person. If I don't talk about it, it makes me a bad person. It's not. If you don't talk about something, or if you don't do something, some people, the people that like, they don't donate and they're like, oh, I should probably start donating so I can be a better person. Donating doesn't make you a good person. Like, it's a really good thing for you to do, but just if you don't donate, you're not a bad person. Or if you don't talk about something, you're not a bad person. It doesn't have to be that. Because if you do it out of, I need to do it so that people don't think I'm a bad person, then you've not done it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've not done it for the right reasons, or the reasons of it mattering. You've done it to basically feel good. And it's like selfish in a way. So like that's why I say for me it is a personal choice, because it's like, I know I don't have to post about it, I know I don't have to talk about it, but I want to, because like I said, if it was me, this is what I would want done. And I look at a lot of things like that. If it was me, this is what I would expect, this is what I would want, therefore I'm gonna do what I would expect. Like, expect what give what you expect. I don't know the saying. Something
I kind of know
like
what you mean. I know. Give what you expect. No, that's fine.
Yeah, treat people how you want to be treated.
Oh, okay. That's a completely different saying. I was like, I was trying to back you up.
Brain went. No, but it's like,
I know exactly what you
mean. You know what I mean. I don't know how to explain it, but basically,
No, I completely agree. And I think you're right. I think it's about treating each other like we're human beings. If you forget that, then it becomes a thing where we kind of, especially Denise technology, kind of separates us too much, where we don't feel that visceral.
Social media is just toxic.
You know, I think we can even go into that, like, even, I think that's another time, because it's like a whole conversation about activism on social media and how it stunts it instead of actually like propping it up. And it's like you're posting into a void of just other people making all these other noises. Yeah. You know?
And people, like, it's like if you're active about something, or if you post a lot about something or talk a lot about something, people are like, oh, you're just so radical.
Yeah.
But then it's like, but you're not. Yeah. Because I'm not like knocking down your bins saying, believe what I'm saying, look at this. No. Like, no one's doing that. And a lot of people aren't radical, but like on social media, whenever like protests happen, they only ever clip that group of people that are being radical or are being extreme, and they run with that and be like, everyone at this protest was like this. There is such a thing as peaceful protests. If someone else turns it into something else, or like if that corner isn't being like peaceful about it, it's that corner. It's not the whole entire protest at all. So it's like, I don't know, like people throw the word radical around a bit too much and associate everything with radical, because when you see someone being radical, you're like, damn.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's a, like, not to get controversial, I think it's a media thing. I think the media has a way of kind of like showing us what they want us to believe and radicalizing these people who aren't radical to make us feel like, you know, to make us feel like, you know, like, oh, being part of this conversation is, and it's like, people need to like take a step back and realize how it's affecting their minds. I had to do that for myself, you know?
Yeah, like I was in, obviously, my degree, there was one topic that we did on social media and media in general. And it was like, the media only show us what they want to show us. They only show us what they want to show us. That's why it's like, don't ever fully believe the media. Go out there, do your own research, find what you can. And a lot of the time, the truth is buried under so many, like, lies or, like, headlines that are aiming to tarnish a lot of people and a lot of beliefs. So it's like, you have to be careful. Don't always believe, like, what you see in the media. My parents used to always say it. Don't believe everything you see on TV.
Same.
Don't believe everything you see on TV because it's a lie.
It's like, even think about it for your own life. Like, when you put stories up, the Instagram stories, like, you know, like most of what I'm putting, I'm showing you stuff. I'm creating that. Yeah. Imagine a big conglomerate company.
There's a massive edit team that they have.
They have. Like, you're looking there, saying their piecing
and they can edit voice now.
Yeah, AI is crazy.
AI. They can edit your voice now and make you.
Please leave me alone, AI.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's weird. Don't do that because. That's scary.
It is scary.
Because it will sound like
exactly
as well.
And you'll be saying things you just never said in your life.
Exactly. And you're like, whoa. Like what happened on Love Island with Grace. The screenshots. I don't know if you watched.
No. What happened?
Love Island All Stars. One of the girls basically at the fire pit was just like, she saw a screenshot of one girl saying basically she'll do anything to win Love Island, and that's what she's basically there for. And then it came out and she got so much hate, and it was literally the day before the final, and they were they would have won in my opinion. I think they would have won because the public loved them. And the moment she said that on national TV, when you come at someone's character like that on national TV, you know they're gonna get hate, especially because she had been on the show before and received hate and backlash for some of the things she did. And when that happened, it was like the screenshots that came out that they were fake and they were photoshopped. But the damage was already done.
Yeah, it's malicious, but it's already done.
It's so evil.
It's crazy because like what are you supposed to even do? Okay, so looking at it positively now.
Yeah.
You've mentioned I think it's important. I think it's really important. But I think it's really important to highlight these issues. Yeah. Which is like I said to you before, I've wanted to talk about these issues, but I want to talk about it in a way of not making people feel powerless, but showing someone who's actually doing something about it, and being like, look, you can do it too. You know, you can actually make a difference too by just, you know, believing you can and actually having like you said, educating yourself and having a good, honest interaction with whatever you're trying to make an impact on. But I wanted to also just ask, how do you measure progress, you know, in activism? Because it is difficult because everything seems so big and, you know, not even just with Palestine, but also just in anything in general. How do you see progress? Do you think we're heading that direction? What do you think?
I would say... That's a really interesting question. I would say I do think we are heading in that direction slowly. And the reason why I say that is because I still don't think enough is being done. And I think that is because people still don't want to talk about it. And it's like pushing it to the side. And I think... from what I can see, especially over the past few years with like COVID and stuff, what I've seen, people, until things get really, really bad, that's when people are like, okay, yeah, we need to do something. So it's like we're too slow with it. We're really slow with it because we wait until it's really bad, until the last second to do something about something or like talk about something. And it's like by then... so many bad things have happened. Like with COVID, it wasn't until there was how many deaths that we went into a lockdown. And that lockdown, and like half the world had already gone into a lockdown. But the UK was like one of the last because they were waiting basically for a certain number of deaths. Like that's, when you think about it, that's so messed up.
I know.
And to wait until something's really bad to make a change is why I say we're moving slow. Because it's like we recognising it, we know it's there, but we're just like, let's leave it for a bit and then let's do something. And that's why I say we are making progress really, really slow. I think it could be a lot faster. There's not enough like physical change, I'd say. Because I feel like we live in a generation where we give up a bit too easily. Like, oh, if there's no change, it's not working out or whatever, then move on to the next thing. But like, you're not gonna, especially big issues in the world, and there are a lot of big issues in the world, you're not gonna see the change like tomorrow. It's gonna take years. Especially back in the day, like, it took years. It
took generations.
Like, it took generations, years. Yeah. Like, for us to even be where we are now. So it's like, we know it is going to do that, but we still need to do our part. I'd say, yeah, we are improving and everything. It's definitely, I think people are talking about it more. Or people are a bit more open. I think people are scared to talk about it, but they're not afraid of hearing it anymore. I feel like before, you couldn't. Yeah. You couldn't talk about it.
I agree. And I think just even like little things like these conversations really help. What gives you hope? When you look out into the world, past, obviously there's so much things that are happening that are like bad, and you know, we've talked about a lot of those things today, but what gives you hope when you look at the world?
To be fair, it's like those small acts of kindness that actually give me hope. Like, you know, when you see them little like videos of, it's like, I think they're like social experiments and stuff that they do. And then it's like, you see like, I don't know, like a kid helping an old man cross the street. Like that, like, I'm like, oh, that's just so cute. And it's like, I'm really emotional. So when I see videos like that, I tear up a bit. And it's like, I would say that it's like the small acts, a little bit of kindness that I'm like, it does give me hope for like change. And I do think, so I know we said social media is toxic, but I do think social media as well. And the reason why, it has now given people a platform to have a voice and be heard. Whereas before, you didn't have a voice. And it'd be very hard to be able to say what you think. But because now anyone can have a social media account on, whether it be like TikTok, Instagram, whatever, like anyone can have a page or an account. So, and you can post whatever you want. So if you want to talk about something, you can do that. And that share button just goes absolutely crazy because things go viral in like minutes.
Literally.
Or overnight. So that's why I'm like, social media and also the small acts of kindness, I think, gives me the little hope.
I completely agree with you. I think like even this, like even being able to create a platform. Like you were talking before about hopefully having a podcast, and I think it's so true. Like even the ability for just people who have something in themselves, who actually, I want to say something, and then having the tools that aren't, you know, before I think it was just the media that could do it, and they had their own, and it kind of clouded our judgment. But now we can just get on here, be research and just talk about it, you know?
That's what that's one thing I like as well. I know a lot of people are like, anyone can have a podcast nowadays. But that's good that anyone can have a podcast nowadays, because they can talk about whatever they want. If you own something, you could talk about whatever you want now. And it's like, oh, like, yeah, people say not everyone should have one. If they're not talking about or doing stuff that you like, you don't have to watch it. Like, you really don't. But you also don't need to be sat there leaving a hate comment.
Literally.
Because you're contributing to their engagement. Well done. That backfired. But, like, podcasts as well, that's something that a lot of people now are having, or they're starting, and they're talking about things, which is, like, good, because it's, like, it's not just like they're saying something on social media and then it's just that one video. It's now an actual discussion, and that's what needs to be happening. I think our generation, we talk a lot. We talk a lot. We don't do a lot of physical stuff, but I think we talk a lot. But I think that's because none of us ever went to war. I think it'd be different. If we were all told that we need to go on that front line, it'd be very different. We wouldn't even survive.
I think most people wouldn't even go. They'd be like,
I'd hide.
You hide where?
I would dig a hole
That's so
and
much
hide
work.
in there.
Getting a hat.
Like, my advantage if I was to go to war is that I'm small.
How is that advantage?
Because I can crawl. Like, they won't think that anyone's crawling. They'll think it's just tumbleweed going by. Like, it will be fine. But, like, I would not survive I wouldn't even survive in boot camp. Like,
it was just like, no, we need her. It's fine.
I'd be like, you can keep me for like spare parts.
I'll be right at the back. Like, hit me at the back. Let me
give me like the controls or something. Then it's like, I'm not tech savvy. So what would I be there for?
Well, hopefully there'll be no war.
Yeah, hopefully. Like, I know they were talking about that whole front line stuff. I was like, huh?
But okay, let's wrap it up. Okay, so everything we spoke about today, you mentioned it a lot. I wanted to ask you what impact you wish to leave. So obviously, a lot of the stuff that we talk about, a lot of the discussions that we have, it's good because we can create the discussion, we can create a dialogue, but also I think we often think about what we want to leave. When I always think about this too when I have children and kids, the kind of world I want to bring them into. Yeah. But speaking for you, what do you want to come out of all of this? The things that you do and the impact that you want to leave, even if past, not even just this activism, but also in your life also.